Who's your emergency contact? Who should we notify in the case of death? Welcome to the USP, where I spent the last 2+ decades of my life. If someone had asked me on one of the comments if I ever got tried because I'm a little dude, as far as like, you know, on the sex stuff, right? Yeah. You know, my answer, the quick answer is yeah. When I was out here in the street, I've always had my hair cut short, conservative haircut. My dad never allowed me to grow out my hair. So when I got caught up in '98 and going through the courts, I decided to grow my hair out. And my hair got longer. There was dudes that was coming back from the penitentiary, and they were like, man, you shouldn't go out there with your hair long like that. Because, they got some sick ass dudes out there. They got these dudes that, are homosexuals. And they're going to try you because of your long hair. That's what I kept hearing from dudes that was coming back from the penitentiary. But every time I heard that, it just made me more adamant about growing my hair longer, because I don't have any homosexual tendency. I don't play in that field. So if a motherfucker want to try me, my mentality is like, yeah, come and try me and see what happens. And I've always been stubborn as far as I follow the rules that make sense to me. The politics in the penitentiary, as far as you don't be a jailhouse thief, you don't freaking run up debts and don't pay it. You treat people with respect. You conduct yourself with integrity, on man time. Those things that are in place, I believe in. But I'm not gonna not wear something or have my hair cut a certain way because of these sick ass dudes that are predators that are, trying to get a boy or something. So the more people told me that I shouldn't grow my hair, the longer my hair got. By the time I got to Lompoc, as you can see in some of the pictures in the beginning of the intro, my hair was down to my belly button. And when I grow my hair out, it's kind of curly. And I guess some people look at that like, thought I was cute, So on this particular incident, but I never, through the course of my bid, project that I had any sugar in my tank. Like, you can see dudes that are trying to catch somebody, they walk a certain way, they toss their hair back a certain way, they're giving off these subliminal messages and stuff. Me, I'm a gangster, homie. I just had long hair, period. I don't carry myself in any way to try to insinuate that I'm receptive to this type of advancement. So I come home one day from rec, and I go into my cell. I'm in Lompoc at this time. I go in my cell, and I noticed there was a letter on my bunk that was folded up. Like somebody came into my cell and just tossed it into the bars, So I'm like, okay, what the fuck is this? Somebody dropped me a kite. So I opened up and I read the kite. And the kite was like, hey, what's up, Mason, man? I've been watching you for the last few months. I love your long hair, this and that. You're pretty. Just all the homosexual shit. And I'm reading that. And he's like, man, what's up, man? If you're interested in hooking up, stand by the laundry. Because, where my cell is in Lompoc, you come into the block, to your right, they got the washer and dryer. They got 2 washers, 2 dryers, and they got a mop room. So the note was like, yeah, if you with it, stand by the washer and dryer at 2 o'clock tomorrow, right? So when I'm reading the kite, I'm getting heated up. I'm like, man, this bitch motherfucker here is gonna really try me, right? Like, because through the course of my time, again, I'm not walking around putting off that aura. like I'm trying to get a dude or that I'm with the program. You know, I'm just doing me. I just happen to have long hair. And like, again, I say the reason I grew my hair out is because I wanted to have long hair. And I'm not with somebody trying to tell me not to grow my hair out because I'm going to have issues with these homosexuals. In my mind, if somebody jumps out there, I'm going to make it understood that I'm not receptive to this type of investment. So I take my letter up to my homeboy Billy that lived in on the 3rd floor. He's from Provo, out here from Utah. You know, me and him were cellies before he got himself a single cell, and that's how when we got split up. You know, he was doing good, so they gave him a single cell. I had a single cell in Lompoc for about 2 weeks before I got kicked out of there because I don't program. I refuse to jump through the hoops that the administration wants me to jump through. I just do what I do, how I want to do it. So doing that, I was always on commissary restriction. I was always on, you know, phone restriction and visiting restriction and all the rest. So I take the letter upstairs to go show the homie. And he read it and he's like, damn. So, you know we have a handful of homosexual dudes in the block, but a few of them are undercover. Some of them we know about. Like there's maybe 2 of them or 3 of them that was walking around trying to look like girls, you know, wearing their shorts tight, cutting their shorts off. You know, they putting their, like, I don't know where they got the stuff to put eyeliner on and lipstick on. You know, they're probably taking the M&Ms and melting it down and using it for lipstick and whatever. But you could tell the homosexuals that are trying to be little girls and shit. But then you got these other dudes that are undercover that walk around like they're gang. And, you know, I'm not going to take it, you know, just because you're a homosexual don't mean that you're not a gangster. Like, there's been incidents where homosexual dudes punish dudes that try to rape them or jump out there or whatever. But what I'm saying is that you got these dudes that are acting like they're not with the program, but they're undercover. And there was a couple of them that we suspected, but there was more than a couple that was with that program. And one of them that I had suspected was this dude named O. You know, big old fat dude with dreads. He didn't have dreads, he had braids, but big old sloppy fat dude, black dude from the Midwest, that was a vice lord. I've never seen him in any particular incident or anything like that, but there's been rumors in the compound that he's with the program. And he was my primary suspect because I lived downstairs on the 1st floor and he lived on the 2nd tier, just 2 cells over on the 2nd tier. He never leaves the block. He just stays in the unit or whatever. And we already had a prior incident over with him because one day while I was in the block, I went and changed the channel on the black TV. Because I looked around, nobody's watching the TV. I was the only one on the block. I went and changed the channel. And I guess he went crying to all the other black dudes that I had no business touching the TV and all this and that. But, you know, nothing came of it because I'm in the block. Yeah, I understand it's a black TV, but ain't nobody fucking watching it, so why can't I change the fucking channel? You know? But again, I have to respect the politics. In Lompoc, we didn't have an Asian Islander TV. There was only 3 TVs in each unit. A white TV, a black TV, and a Mexican TV. And in M block, we were lucky we had 6. Because in the other block, the tiers, the cells are on the outside and day rooms in the middle. But in M block, the cells in the middle back to back with the day room going in a horseshoe on the outside. So they got 3 TVs on each side. Now, when you come in the block, on the right side, at the end of the block, it's the Crip area, the Crips and the Blood. If you're not a Crip, if you're not a Blood, and you ain't got no business there, you could live in that block for 2 or 3 years and never see the end of that unit. Because as soon as you start walking through that area, heading to that area, somebody's gonna pull you up and be like, hey, what you doing over here, homie? What business you got over here? And they'll turn you around. And if you don't, you might get chopped off. And vice versa, on the other side, on the left side, at the end of the block, is the Sereno area. Again, if you ain't got no business over there, homie, you might never see the end of that side. In California yards, the Crips and the Serenos, they always position themselves the furthest distance from each other. Because, you know, they beef in the street and they beef in the state joint. So whether you're in the chow hall or in the unit, their TVs, their tables is always situated from the furthest point of each other, and everybody else are in between as buffers. Me, I'm able to go wherever I want to go, you know, and I do pretty much what I want to do. Saying that, meaning that I'm not running around disrespecting people, but I'm being Asian, and the way that I conduct myself, I built relationships and rapport with different people from other gangs and races that I'm able to move in every circle. So when I got this letter, this kite that was dropped on my bed, you know, I got in my feelings, like, because I'm not walking around projecting that energy that I'm looking for somebody, looking to get in a relationship or any of that shit, you know. So, and I had my suspicions of who it might be. Well, the next day, you already know I'm over there at the laundry, you know, at the laundry by the washer and dryer, standing there at 2 o'clock. And I got my homeboy Billy watching the tier to see who's watching me, you know, because I'm not going to go politics on this issue. At the time, I only had a suspicion of this dude. I don't know that it's him. But once I determined that it's somebody, regardless of who it is, I'm not going to go tell him, hey, I'm not with this, I'm cool on that, or any of that. I'm going to go over there and stab him because I feel disrespected that you even jumped out there, that you even thought that this was even a possibility, you know? So while I'm standing over there, Billy comes down the tier and says, hey, come up here, come up here. So I go up the stairs, they're on the 3rd floor. And when I go into the 3rd floor, he tells me Mike wants to talk to me. Mike, he had the yard for the Black Gorilla family. He was one of the dudes that I wake up and go work out with every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. I just go work out with Mike, the one that had the yard for the BGF. So he pulls us into his cell, and him and Billy, Mike and Billy, they're good friends. They've been friends before I got to the compound. You know, at this time, I've only been in the yard for about 4 or 5 months. And but Billy and Mike, they've already had a rapport and a relationship, and that's how I was introduced to Mike, was through Billy. So they called me into the cell, and Mike showed me the kite that Billy had showed him. Mike, the kite that was left in my room. He's like, hey. He's like, look. He goes, man, just squash that. I said, what do you mean? He goes, just dead it. Just don't worry about it. It's been handled. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's been handled. Because, you know, through the course of the time that I got to know Mike, he read my paperwork. He knows my cases. He knows what I'm about. And he knows the intention that I have. And he was like, look, man, just leave it alone. You know, it's already been resolved. Dude's already been informed that he shouldn't be trying you, this and that. And I'm like, well, who the fuck is it? He's like, man, that doesn't matter. I said, why doesn't it matter? I got a dude that's trying to hit on me. It matters to me, you know, because I feel disrespected that this dude thought that I'm with that. You know, he's like, look, all I'm going to tell you is he's a gang member. You can't go. And, you know, this is when I really started understanding the different politics of prison. He's like, man, you can't go and stab this dude because, one, you're not a gang member. And he's part of an organization that spreads out all through the BOP. And if you hit this dude, no matter where you go, no matter how justified you feel you are, these dudes, every yard you go, his homie's not gonna let you walk. You're gonna have issues with these dudes everywhere you go. But I'm like, yeah, but I'm not in the wrong here. Because that doesn't matter. Because he knows that I'm not gonna go through to this dude's shot caller and cry about this kite. He knows that I'm just gonna go and handle my business. And because I'm not gonna go through the protocol, because how the fuck am I gonna look like going to somebody and say, hey man, can you please tell your homie I'm not gay, and for him not to try to hit on me? Like, that doesn't even sound right coming out of my mouth or anybody. That's just stupid. And one, if I go to their homie and express that, again, it's gonna make me look stupid, and two, it's gonna give their people a heads up that I feel some type of way about what transpired, and they might force dude to deal with me before I punish him. But, you know, repeatedly, I kept asking Mike, like, man, who the fuck is this dude? And then again, he was like, look, man, just leave it alone. I already squashed it, and this and that. So, for those that asked if I ever got tried, that was the one incident that somebody tried me, just because I had long hair. And I guess I'm cute and pretty, you know. I don't even understand how you look at a man and even have an opinion of if he's pretty or cute or handsome. Like, it's just beyond my comprehension, right? But the lesson I learned, not really a lesson that I learned, but that incident, you know, revealed to me the politics of prison. I walk by myself. Yeah, I'm part of an Asian Islander car, but we're not a gang, you know? And in Lompoc, we didn't run as one. Everybody was segregated to the different groups. The Hawaiians mostly associate with the Islanders, the Hawaiian. The Vietnamese mostly associate with the Vietnamese. We all come together sometimes to kick it and whatever, but our car wasn't a unified car. It only got like that later when me and Bryson ended up in Atwater. In Atwater, we functioned more of like a gang. We weren't still like gang members, but we had more of a structure and more of an expectation that we insist on the homies living up to that was in Atwater with us. But being in Lompoc, I was brand new, and the situation was already established before I got there. And being honest, I didn't have a lot of respect for some of the Asians and the Islanders that was there in Lompoc because they didn't check nobody's paperwork, and you didn't really know who and what was there. You know, all that paperwork checking and stuff didn't really happen until, you know, me and Bryson. Until later on, until we went to Victorville. I was in Lompoc from 2001 to 2004. When we got to Victorville, it was a brand new prison, and all of us that got transferred over there got together and insisted that we run our car this way because, you know, we do a lot of business with people, and there's been a few times where I had comments from other races and other cars. They're like, man, you know, we know you guys don't check paperwork, and that was a stigma on our car. So later on through the course of my bid, we changed that stigma and ended up enforcing it. But, you know, being not from a gang, not from a prison gang, if I get into with a gang member, just obligations from the gang member, they're not gonna allow me to hit other yards knowing that I just punished one of their homies on a compound. Just like the story I just shared with you previously with the New Mexico hitting a Texas dude. He didn't understand the politics and didn't respect it. I thought he was above it and ended up getting his face stabbed up. But again, like, if I knew who it was at the time that this thing was happening, I wasn't gonna let that stop me from punishing the dude because I feel like I'm in the right. So regardless of the repercussions that comes after that, I'm gonna punish dude. But Mike Wilson, being an older dude, been down 20-something years at this time, took a liking to me and schooled me. And him being somebody that I respected, you know, I accepted what he said because he intervened in my behalf to let the dude know and his people know that, hey, you shouldn't be fucking with this youngster because this youngster, one, is going to punish you, and two, we're going to have his back. And to that, I appreciate that. And I appreciate to all the old heads that raised me in a penitentiary. And I got nothing but love and respect for them. Welcome to the USP.